All right, welcome to Trendy Options. Today is the 25th, 2019. So really quick, I want to show you guys kind of what I'm talking about here in the room. So I was going to make a really quick video and try to update this. So first things first, let's just go over here to, I don't know, let's go to Beyond. Okay, so we're going to go to Beyond. All right, and let's say that this morning I wanted to take my trade. Remember, anytime I have an entry or an exit, I want to come just above, just below. This is basically going to give you 138.72 by 136.50. Let's just call it $2. Okay. And I'm going to write those numbers down really quick. And this is for most Thinkorswim users. I'm not sure if this is going to work on TradeStation or anything else that you may be using. I'm only showing you this based off of Thinkorswim. So basically what we're doing is setting up a bracket order. Okay, and let's just say on the focus trades, I want to take these, but I don't, and I cannot, and I do not have the time to watch all of them and concentrate like I need to concentrate. What I want to do is use my analysis, um, and I love my analysis and I trust my analysis, but sometimes as a trader, our emotions get in the way, right? And then we go back and we go, man, if we would have just stuck to the original analysis, I could have made, 3x, 4x, 5x, whatever it may be. So how do I approach this? Well, I could do what's called a bracket order. So how do we do that with options? So let's go ahead and write these numbers down. We're going to say 138.72 by 136.50. You could see here this morning that the actual box itself was right here between 138.22 and 136.80. And that's what this green and red numbers are right here, okay? So I'm going to write down the ones I plugged in, 138.72 and 136.50, okay? And that is your risk right there, okay, folks? That is your risk. So let's just call it $2. So your risk here is $2 between the two. So if I were to stop out, so say I wanted to buy shares, my risk there is $2. Okay, and you can always tighten this up. For myself, if the box is when I post this, the box is 138.19 by 136.89, then maybe that's all you want to use, right? And in this case, it would have worked out. But you always want to come up a little bit and below a little bit, just in case you miss the trade, something like this. And so how do we do that? How do I get into this trade without watching this trade, but you know, basing it off of my analysis? Well, let's go over here to trade. Okay, and you can see here, I'm just going to go down here, and this is all hypothetical. Okay, and one thing I want to make clear is this is, as a disclaimer, this is not me telling you to do this. This takes a little bit of practice for you to get used to. But one thing I could do is come over here and say I wanted to buy the 155. Okay, so I am going to buy, and it's going to be custom. And for you, you're going to come over here to the with OCO bracket. Now, I already have some that I've saved, and I've called them, whatever I've saved them under, and they will, once we save these, they will stay under here. Okay, so we're just going to click on the OKTA. Okay, and what you're going to notice here, all right, is we have three orders. We have a buy, and we have a sell, and then we have a stop for all of those orders. Okay, so this is going to pull up on TOS. We're going to follow this across. You're going to see this cog, as I call it, this little wheel here. And the first thing I want you to see is when we click on this, this is going to pop up. And you need to read this and be very clear, understanding of what's going on here. So first things first, I'm buying 5 of these Beyonds, okay? And going across here, you can see we're going to buy 5. There's going to be a trail stop of 1.2%. And I'm going to go over this, what this means here in a second. 1.2%, okay? And then we have a mark percentage. Make sure these are correct. So this is your trail stop, okay? 1.2%. Stop linked to mark percentage. Stop type is mark. Time in force is good till canceled, so just remember that. And then don't worry about these time or anything. And then since I have a template for myself, I have to come in here and I have to change this. So this is where it's very important that you type everything correctly. So this is beyond, okay? And I want the trigger, okay? So it's going to be a mark, and I want the trigger to be less than or equal to my box. In this case, we said 138.72 by 136.50, less than or equal to 138.72. That's going to be the top of my box. 138.72, not point, not just 138.72, $138.72. Okay. So now we have this, and now I'm going to go ahead and just put that in there. And I want to show you this as well. So let me see if I can pull up a chart. And actually, we're going to go through the whole thing. Then I'm going to show you what the 1.2% means, okay? Now, on the second row here, we are going to say, let's say that my target in this case is 155. We saw it up there, right? Now we're going to sell 5 of these, okay? And we're going to keep this at a trail stop. This is going to be 5%. This is going to be mark percentage, stop by mark, time in force, good till canceled. And down here, I have to change this again. I'm going to change this to beyond. And this is mark greater than or equal to $155. Okay, 155.00. Okay. All right, so we have that in there. We're going to go ahead and save. The third one, okay, if we were to get stopped out, sell 5 of these at market, good till canceled. Again, I'm going to change beyond, and I'm going to talk about all this once I'm finished here. When the mark is less than or equal to the bottom of that box. So it's going to be 136.50. Okay, 136.50, and then I'm going to hit save. Okay, so one thing that I can do here is now I can save this, and I can call this, okay, I'm going to call this beyond. And this is beyond with a 1.2% by 5%. Okay, and we'll talk about what those percentages mean here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay, now let's just, let's just go ahead and put this to the side. Okay. All right. Now I want to show you what this means on the chart. So the way we have this set up, okay, let's talk about the 1.2%. What this means, okay, is that when price opens, let's say it opens up here, okay, and then it starts to reverse, okay, as it comes into the box and it hits the 138.72, it doesn't necessarily, well, no, sorry, I should say necessarily, it does not execute until the price of the option, not the stock price, increases by 1.2%. Now that's just beans, guys. I mean, that's really small. And you can change that and work with it, whether you're doing paper trade or something like that, or just figure out what, hey, if I'm paying $3 for this and it increases by 1.2%, what is the actual price and the underlying option, okay? So the cool thing about this is if it runs all the way through this thing, it's not going to execute, okay? Doesn't execute until it gets in here and increases by 1.2%. Okay, again, price comes down, it stops somewhere in here, and then executes when we go up 1.2%. So it's even better, right? You're going to get a cheaper price. Then you're taking this trade, okay, and you're moving up. And remember, we're searching for it. Let's call this 155 up here, okay? And as price goes up to 155, let's just say it's a nice shooter all the way here. Okay, gets to 155. Now what happens when it hits 155 is that the 5% trail stop gets in there. Okay, 5% trail stop. And then let's go ahead and make this white. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is your box. Price opens up, comes down, 1.2% kicks off. Boom, you're in the trade. Okay, let's make this blue line. Let's make this 155. Okay, $155 right here. Okay, price continues to make its way here. Now your next execution says, hey, I'm going to put a stop on this when the price of the option, not the stock price, drops 5%. It will get you out of the trade. That way, if Beyond decides it's going to continue to move all the way up to 180, guess what happens? Your stop that was here is now up here. It's a trail stop. Okay, and then if it decides to come back 5%, you get stopped out here. Okay, that's what that means on that end. So once again, the 1.2% just means it's coming into your parameters, but will not execute till the option price increases 1.2%. Okay, and the 5% trail stop doesn't kick in until it gets to target. Now, let's talk about the cons of this. Let's say that, again, this is 138, okay, right here. This is 138. I mean, to me, that's a long ways to go. What if price gets all the way to 153 and turns all the way back around? You never even execute. So you come back and you look and you're like, holy crap, man, I was actually up, $1,000 at 2 o'clock, and then I come back at 2:59 and I'm down 1,000. Okay, so maybe what you can do is you can change those parameters. Instead of 155 being your target, look for more targets. Okay, maybe you have your first target at 145 and then 148. Okay, and maybe you change the 5% to 10% so that you can make it up to your 155. Okay, if you have more questions, just reach out to me. The next thing is our stop. So what does our stop mean? Well, that's pretty simple. It's a mark stop. So basically you give them the bottom number, which I showed you. That would be that 136.50 down here. Okay. So when price decides that, hey, you got in here at 1.2, things are looking great, gets up to here, and then boom, it stops you out at 136.50. Now, the best way that I can say how much money you would lose in this scenario is pretty simple. You can go over, this is an estimate, by the way. You could go over to your option chain and take a look at the overall delta. Okay, and let's just say that say you got 10 of these contracts. Okay, and the delta was 40. Okay, so for every dollar, you're going to lose roughly 40 bucks on this guy. Okay, again, this is just an estimate. 40 bucks per dollar move. We have a $2 spread here. That's $80 per contract times 10. Your max loss on this would be $800. Okay, 800 bucks on 10 contracts. Again, estimate. However, if you were to sell up here, your max could be $5,000. So just understand all that. And so that's what we're putting together in here when we're doing the OCO. Now, the cool thing is if I go back over here to trade and I right click on, let's say 9, 10, now I can come over here and buy custom. And as you can see, Beyond is now in here. Now, it's always saved. So I can click on Beyond. The problem is when I come back over here is now let's just say that price has changed. Okay, price has changed. Now Beyond's trading at 170. The only thing you have to do is come into each one of these and just come down and you're going to change the mark, right? The threshold, the numbers. Remember the box numbers, right? And then we're going to close these out. Then you come over here, say now your target is going to be not 155, but 220. You change this to 220. Okay, very simple. Okay, seems very complicated, but the biggest thing is when you finish this is you hit confirm and send, and then you make sure that you read it out aloud. Make sure it makes sense. Hey, I'm buying these when it hits this. Okay, I'm selling them when it hits this, and I'm stopping out when it hits this. Okay, so make sure all that makes sense. Now, again, as a disclaimer, I'm not telling you guys to come out here and do this. All I'm doing is giving you an insight of what Thinkorswim does offer here, and using the strategy that I'm using helps you kind of walk away and do those set and forget kind of trades. And I'm finding it to be very, very useful. And you don't have to go out here and put like tons of money on it. If it's just something that you're trying out, you could do 1 to 2 contracts and come back. And the cool thing, the way that I look at this is like 5 of me. Right, it's 5 of me. I'm already setting these up pre-market. This could be really simple. I come in here in the morning. I have 4 focus trades. I set all 4 focus trades up based on my box, up and down. Look at my risk, look at my reward. I give you guys targets. You know where you want to get in, you know where you want to get out. And this is more geared for the person that doesn't have the time to watch the trades but likes the overall system. Okay? So that's what we're looking at here. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, please reach out. And if you have any other questions, again, I'm here for you.